Welcome to the farm.
Welcome to the farm. I'm Justin, and as you can see, I brought home more scrap. I'm sure Dana's really excited about that. She's always on my case about bringing stuff home and having stuff laying around. But we're going to take this and we're going to turn it into a mobile workbench. I did originally plan on being outside today, working on grading for the garage and the barn drainage. Unfortunately, it rained all night last night, and it is crazy windy outside and still raining. So we're gonna start another project. I got some big heavy duty casters I picked up that are gonna go down here to make this thing roll. But the first thing I need to do is I need to cut all the steel off that I don't need.
So last year I tackled my first big fabrication project by building my rock bucket for my tractor, and I didn't have a really good work area set up for it. What I ended up doing is taking a big wooden wire spool and then taking the back of a big distribution tub for electrical gear, laying that over the top and using that as my welding table, and it worked. The problem was the top wasn't supported very well, so it kind of arched and I ended up with a little bit of bow in the bucket, which is not a big deal. But for future projects I wanted something a little more sturdy, so I had planned on making a steel rolling fabrication workbench table. However, I didn't really want to spend a lot of money on it, so it was kind of on the back burner. Then I happened to be scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and saw this shipping crate for sale, and it's pretty much already in the shape of a table, and it was way cheaper than what I could buy all the steel for and build it myself. So I picked it up, brought it home, and it's been sitting outside for probably about 3 months now. So it feels good to have it in the barn and being able to start working on it.
Alright, so I got pretty much everything I need to get cut off. I didn't realize, because it's the first time I flipped this thing over since I brought it home, that this piece is actually up higher than this piece. So what I might end up doing is cutting this off, dropping it to the same height as this and welding it back in and getting this all a little more flush, just so my top sits a little better, because I'm going to put a really thin piece of steel on the top. I'll show you what I got back there. So this right here is a piece of metal I'm going to use for the top of that table. It's the same metal I used when I built my rock bucket. Right now I got all the extra case parts on it. I'll have to find a place to go with these. But this is going to end up being my top. Like I said, it's not overly thick, so I kind of want to have as flat as I can to keep this as straight as I can. So now I think what I'm going to do, since it kind of stopped raining, I'm going to bring this outside and I'm going to start grinding all the welds and cuts I did, just to kind of clean this up a little bit. So right here, this is what I'm left with after cutting, just some built up weld. I got it as close as I could with that bandsaw, but I didn't want to dig into the steel, so I left a little bit of the weld on there. So we'll just have to go ahead and grind that off and smooth it out, and I'll show you how I do that.
So what I like to do is use my big 7-inch grinder. It seems to take material off faster. It's a little heavier duty, more power, and I'm all about getting it done faster. The 4.5 will work good with just a regular grinding disc, but this is just quicker. So I'll knock the weld off and bring that as smooth as I can get it with the grinder. Then I'll come back with the 4.5-inch with a 60 grit, I call them flappy disc, little sanding disc, and I'll hit that out to smooth out after the grinder.
And there we go. It's about as good as I need to get for this. This is all going to get covered with that steel anyway, and the bottom, it's just the bottom. I'm still going to grind it and clean it up as nice as I can like this. And then obviously I'll have to go through and clean all the rust off before I weld and paint and all that good stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and get grinding, and I'll catch up with you later. Alright, so we got the grinding all finished up, everything cut off, as good as it needs to be. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So the next thing I need to do is get all this stuff cleaned off and find a home, so I can get at the top of my table to see how long that is, because I probably have to trim the frame down to fit this. There's some holes drilled in it and that kind of stuff that I don't want in my table, so I'm guessing that frame's got to get cut down quite a bit. So that's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you found it interesting. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and like it. We really appreciate it. Also consider subscribing if you haven't already. We'll be obviously working more on this table. Hopefully the weather changes, we can get back outside, work on that grading, and get that other garage built. So yeah, lots to look forward to. If you don't want to miss it, please consider subscribing, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.